Hey y'all, we are back in the kitchen. It is July 5th, the day after our little 4th of July holiday, which was very nice and chill. And yeah, I did another thing. I got skint the other night. I went in for a trim and I was like, oh, take a little more off. And boy, she took me at my word. And I'm like, you know what? Who cares? It's hair. It'll grow. In 2 weeks, it'll be a bush in my face again, and I'm not going to worry about it. The husband's not real pleased, but I'm not super thrilled with it. It is pretty short, but whatever, it grows. So, anywho, we're not here for a beauty lesson. We are going to make a Mediterranean spaghetti today. And y'all, it's the best. I'm not even that big of a spaghetti fan. I mean, it's okay. I'll eat it. It's fine, but it's not something I would, go out of my way to have. But this is really, really good, I think. The Mediterranean side of it is just a little of the spices that we're going to put in and the vegetables. Now, here's a little trick for you. If you've got picky ones, whether they're little picky ones or big picky ones with man muscles, you can throw veggies in this and hide them. They will never know they're there, and they will scarf it down. I mean, if they're super, like if I see it, I freak out, then you can just mince it really small. If they're just like, I just don't want to taste it, then you can cut it up like I'm going to cut them up. I have put vegetables in my spaghetti for years. I absolutely love it. It's added nutrition. It makes your spaghetti go further so you can serve, more people. And I just think it's yum. So that's what I do. I'm going to add, kind of my standard is a little bit of carrot, some kale, some zucchini, and mushrooms. You can't have spaghetti without mushrooms. But you can do all kinds of things. You can do any combination of that. You could add broccoli. I've done that before. That's pretty dang tasty. Some yellow squash. I mean, whatever. You could throw peas in there. I've actually done some peas before. That's pretty good. I love some peas. So any combination of veggies in there just makes it a more well-rounded dish. And here's the thing. As you know, any kind of Italian sauce, a marinara, spaghetti sauce, that type of tomato-based sauce has such a strong flavor, you're not going to taste any of those vegetables individually at all. If you didn't see them, you wouldn't know they were there. So it's not like it's going to change the flavor of your spaghetti or overwhelm it, but it's just going to make it a nice nutrient-dense dish. I can't talk. So I'm kind of flipped around in my kitchen. It's so sunny outside. We need rain. We need rain so bad. Everything's so dry. It was supposed to be raining this afternoon, but so far it's just beating down sun and heat. So I'm not going to complain like I already have. But I had to turn around to get away from the light because the camera was all fuzzy. So when I start cooking and stop belly aching, I'll turn everything around. But the first thing you want to do, my recipe calls for a pound of ground pork, a half a pound of ground beef. You mix the ground pork with a couple tablespoons of Italian sausage seasoning, and I think I already put the jar back in the cabinet. But I make my own seasoning. I'm pretty certain it's been shared on previous recipes, but we can link it on this one again, just so it's easy. Super simple. Get you some organic herbs and seasonings, make the mix up, stick it in a jar, you get you a little reused jar. It's my basil, and throw it in the fridge. Why do I keep saying the fridge? Throw it in the pantry, and it's there, and you have it. So anyway, that's a good thing to do as opposed to buying packets of seasoning because you have no idea what's really in there, or paying for a jar like this of a seasoning blend. They charge you more because it's a blend, but you can put it together so simply and so inexpensively. So I'm kind of on a rip today. But you want to mix your ground pork with your Italian sausage seasoning. It's really good if it sits overnight. The flavors meld real good. It is not the end of the world if you don't get that done. I didn't get that done. I knew yesterday I was going to do this, and I didn't do it. So it happens. If you can let it sit overnight, fantastic. It can sit several days for that matter. If you're doing your prep work, mix it up on the weekend, throw it in the fridge in a bowl, and whenever you cook spaghetti that week, it's good to go. So your pound of ground pork with your seasoning, your half pound of ground beef. I have done all pork. I have done all beef. go with what you've got. Don't freak out if you're missing something, but kind of the best of the best would be that mix. Then you're going to add a quarter cup of trilogy, the onion, garlic, celery, and brown your meat. While you're browning your meat, measure out some of your seasonings, chop up your veggies. It all goes in the pot. It simmers half an hour. That's it. That's it. And it is the most amazing, fresh Italian spaghetti sauce that you can have. It's so good and so much better. Sorry, it's my ice maker. So much better than what you're going to buy in a jar. So let me turn this thing all around and get over here where you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get down to business. Okay, so in my pot over here to the side, bam, there's my meat, my trilogy seasonings. We're going to let this brown. I'm going to keep a lid kind of cocked on it so y'all don't have to listen to a bunch of popping meat while this is happening. But just to kind of, how simple this can be and how quick it can come together. While your meat is browning, you measure out your seasonings. I just get a little bowl, put it all in there together. Open my cans. You're going to have a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes and 12 ounces of tomato paste. So I'll have them open, ready to go in, and then I'll cut up my veggies. Once the meat is browned, you dump all your seasonings in, you dump in your tomatoes, simmer 15 minutes, add your veggies, give it another 30 minutes until the veggies are tender. That's all there is to it. It's such a great dish to get started, walk away, do other things, whatever. One other little note is the longer the sauce simmers, the better it tastes. So that first little simmer of 15 minutes, you can actually let it go on a real low simmer for an hour or two. And like I said, the longer it goes, the more the flavors come together, the better it tastes. This is actually a fantastic dish to make ahead and let it sit in the refrigerator. Sorry for the noise. Because as those flavors come together, it just tastes better and better and better. Fantastic double, triple duty dish because it is so easy. Make a huge batch. Break it down in portions that's appropriate for your family. Throw it in the freezer. You are ready to rock. Okay, so enough of the infomercial. Let's get down to what we're going to be measuring out. So we've got 2 teaspoons of sugar. I've already put that in the bowl. I don't know why I did, but I did. That is coconut sugar. You want a tiny bit of sugar in your spaghetti sauce because it helps with the acidity of all the tomatoes, can make it almost be a tiny bit bitter. So just that little bit, it's 2 teaspoons, will make a difference. All right, and then we're going to do a tablespoon of salt. Then you want a teaspoon and a half of basil. And I know I've talked to y'all before about, buying organic herbs in bulk and split them with a friend or a family member or 2 or 3 friends or whatever. Friends. And then you can have the highest quality stuff without spending a lot. Super good way to do it. Now, here's something. Half a teaspoon of fennel. So fennel is a little seed. You want to measure it before you start chopping on it. Because, the smaller the size of the thing that you're measuring, the more will fit in the measuring spoon. So if I mince this and then measured, it'd probably be more like 3/4 of a teaspoon. We don't want that much. So you measure it and then you're going to mince it. You can throw it in whole, but nobody wants to bite down on one of those. Fennel is amazing in Italian dishes in moderation. So what I'll do is just kind of hold my hand over it. Let me get this thing out of the way. And just do my knife kind of in a little, round and round. You hear it crunching? Because when you're cutting on these things, they can go flying. It's like cutting up nuts. It's kind of a pain in the tush. But oh, it's so worth it. I need to turn my meat down before it turns into ultra browned. So see, I'm just kind of cutting these. You just want, ooh, it smells good too. So you're just going to kind of keep doing that. It doesn't take very long. If you have a coffee grinder that you use for spices, you can throw it in that. That's super fast, but it takes me longer to wash the extra dish than just doing this. Okay. So we're going to do this up. I tell y'all what, I'm going to pause for just a second so I can open this pot and stir this meat without blowing y'all's ears up with the splattering meat. I'll be right back. Okay, so our ground beef is almost done and our fennel is almost done. I don't know how good y'all can see this, but I'll kind of, after I do that for a while, I'll spread it out and see where, here's some bigger ones over on this side. So I'll just kind of get those. And there may be an easier, faster, better way to do this. If you went to a fancy culinary school, you might know a trick that I don't know. But this has always worked for me, so it's what I do. So there you go. Now we're going to take this. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to slide this over here and scoop that right off in my little bowl. Okay, so there's our ½ teaspoon of fennel. Now we need a ¼ teaspoon of pepper. Ooh, I need to fill my pepper bottle. It's kind of low. So there's my pepper. So that's all the seasonings that are going to go in just a few minutes. And then I'm going to open my tomatoes. So like I said, we'll have one 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I absolutely love this brand, Bio Nature. It's organic. The quality of their stuff is really, really good. And their diced tomatoes have a lot of thick juice, and the diced pieces are kind of small. I don't like really big chunks. And I don't know. I just like it a lot. Some diced tomatoes you get, it's like huge chunks of tomatoes in red water. I don't like that. Now, we're going to open our tomato paste. And I think I've showed y'all this before. You can open both ends. Oh, there's something on my... Well, that's nasty. On my can opener from something that's been opened. Oh, good. Oh, I know what that is. That's sweetened condensed milk. Whoops. You can open both ends, and then when it's time to go in the pot, you just push, and the big old chunk comes through. Then you can take a little skinny spatula and wipe out your can. And to me, that's a lot quicker and easier than digging out of this little tiny skinny can. And it's so thick, it ain't going anywhere. So it's not like it's gonna, while it's sitting here, you know, pour stuff out. Okay, so my tomatoes are ready to go. Get my measuring spoons out of the way. I'm done with them. Now, we've got the mushrooms I have in the freezer. I need to grab those out, and I'm going to put them in straight in frozen because they're chopped up. They'll thaw. You can cut your vegetables, whatever vegetables you use, cut them whatever size you like. I just do little, I don't know, maybe 1/4 inch slices. And then when I get down to this bigger end, I'll cut this in half so that I don't have, you know, little teeny weeny slices and the big huge slices. They're a little closer in size. And then on my zucchini, you want a cup of zucchini. So what I usually do, let me grab my cup. My cup measurer is stained yellow, if you can see that from when I made pickles the other day, and the turmeric just completely stained that whole thing. So I'll like take a small zucchini, cut it in quarters, and then slice it. And then just fill my cup up and see how far it goes. See if I can do that without injuring myself. Now, zucchini is a little bit of a watery vegetable, so it's going to add a little water to what you're doing, and that's fine. because it's not going to be a ton. So that wasn't quite enough. That's about 3/4 of a cup. So I'll add a little more zucchini. I've got my kale in here. It's already torn up, just in little pieces. And again, you can take this and chop it up super fine if you're afraid somebody's going to see it and freak out and be like, oh my God, I can't stand this stuff. You know, as small or big as you want to do it. I like it small just because I want a little bit through the whole dish. I don't want a big chunk in one bite and nothing in the next bite. You've heard me whine about that issue in the past. And that's it. So let me see how we're doing. Oh yeah, our meat is nice and brown. So I'm going to pause and move the camera around so y'all can see, and we'll add things. And then it's literally a matter of simmering. Okay, so my meat is browned, my onions nice and soft, everything's good to go. Now, I usually kind of come in here and use my spoon and chop up my little chunks of ground beef because I don't want big hunks that are like small meatballs. I want meat throughout the dish. So you can do that however you like. So from here, we are going to add all our seasonings. Just dump that in. Leave none of it behind, so you know I got to wipe the bowl out. And then we're going to add our tomatoes, so our 28-ounce can. See, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. You can't see a thing because of me. See how thick? So much better than most canned diced tomatoes. This brand over here, Field Day, that I have their tomato paste. For whatever reason, my supplier doesn't carry the Bio Nature tomato paste, which really drives me insane. So I can't get it. But their diced tomatoes are, ugh. All right, see, we just do that, and you pull this off, and then just push this through. And then you grab this little guy off of there. And I'm going to do the other one, and then I'll show you how I kind of clean out. I mean, this is like not some super skilled thing here. But to me, it's just a whole lot easier than digging in there with a spoon. And then I've got my little baby toy spatulas. I know I've showed y'all those before. Tried to order small spatulas, and I got minuscule size, which they've turned out to be okay. They work pretty good for some little small things such as this. This one came out pretty clean, but see, then I'll just take my little spatula running around on the inside, and see, that's probably get a couple teaspoons out of here just from what sticks to the sides. But again, in my opinion, so much easier than digging with a spoon in that dadgum little skinny jar. I always hated doing that. I know, first world problems, huh? All right. So now we've got everything in here. We're going to stir this up really good. And as you notice, I don't drain my meat, drain the fat off of it. I want all the good, healthy fat. If you buy a good quality ground beef or ground pork, it's not going to be too fatty, and it's not going to put off just tons and tons and tons of liquid. If you have to, you know, you're just at a place that you need to buy something that's a little less expensive, which I hate that there's such tiers on the pricing, but whatever, it is what it is. Then I would drain some or all of it, just depending on how much. But see, look at this. This isn't real super shiny with fat and grease. It's really thick and yummy. Okay, so I'm going to set a lid on this. And like I mentioned a minute ago, the sun's kind of gone. There's been, oh, I'm a little crooked here, but whatever. The clouds are coming. We may actually get rain. I can't believe it. But anyway, we hadn't had rain in like 6 weeks. My grass is brown and crunchy. My animals are laying out there with their tongues hanging out, even though we're filling water troughs all the time. It's just nuts. We need rain. We need rain from the sky. Lord, please give us rain. So this is going to simmer for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to add the vegetables and give it another 30-ish. You can do this, like I mentioned, you could let it simmer for hours and it would be fine. It's actually 2:30 in the afternoon, so I'm probably going to let it simmer for a while because we're not going to be eating at 3 o'clock. And then I'll come back and add my veggies and stuff. This is a great thing to throw in a crock pot. You could mix all this up, cook your meat in a skillet or whatever, dump it all in a crock pot, turn it on low, let it go all day long. So good. So good. Come home, throw your veggies in, turn it on high, kind of wind down, get your spaghetti noodles done, maybe throw a salad together, and you have a fantastic meal. So lots of ways to, make this work out real easy. One thing I was going to mention when I was talking earlier about disguising veggies, if you got people that are like anti-veggie, another great way to disguise them is in Mexican food. Like if you're making burritos or chimichangas or enchiladas, you can chop those vegetables up super small and mix it in there with the meat and the beans. They'll never know. The enchilada sauce is going to overpower. They'll never know they're in there unless they pick them apart and dissect them and find tiny pieces and freak out, which, it's a whole nother level of issues. But it's a great way to get veggies in your kids or your big kid that thinks they don't like vegetables. So anyway, I'll stop. We'll be back in a little while just seeing the final picture, because I don't know that y'all need to watch me dump veggies and stir, but you'll see the final result, and it's so good. So I'll be back in a little while. There we go. That's the finished product. Look at that. It's thick and chunky. It sits on top of the pasta, and it is amazing. Y'all give it a shot. I think you'll like it.